Hello everyone, I am Bob Wolotka. I am a trainer with U.S. Realty Training and a broker associate in Southern California, practicing real estate in our beautiful state. Today, we're going to give you 25 questions that you will likely see in your Florida real estate exam. If you'd like more questions and more tools so that you can have success in passing that exam, click in the link below to find out information about the complete package that USA Realty Training has for the Florida area, and get the tools that you need so that you can pass your test and start making money in real estate. For now, let's get started with those first 25. Here we go. An agency relationship is formed when a customer, A, asks for information about a particular property, B, asks questions about a broker's services and qualifications, C, pays a broker to help, or D, gives a broker authority to act on his or her behalf. The correct answer is D, gives a broker authority to act on his or her behalf. Just payment alone or promise of payment is not sufficient to create an agency relationship. Also, keep in mind whenever you see a question like this on the test where the party is giving authority, that's likely the correct answer. And it's best also if that authority is given in writing. If broker Bob, and why do they have to use Bob? If broker Bob knowingly files a second and then a third false complaint against broker Tom, what can happen to Bob? A, he may be fined $5,000. B, his license may be canceled. C, he may be barred from practicing real estate permanently. Or D, his license may be suspended. The correct answer is C. Committing the same violation more than once can result in license revocation, which is permanent. And never do anything against a Bob. Riparian rights concern which of the following bodies of water? A, lakes. B, seas and oceans. C, streams and rivers. Or D, navigable lakes. The correct answer is C, streams and rivers. Riparian rights relate to streams and rivers or moving water. So if you see riparian, that water's ripping through there. It's moving water. Now, it also breaks down into navigable and non-navigable water rights. So if it is navigable, meaning boats can go through there, it's just an easement. That's public land and you only have right up to the water. If it is non-navigable, boats can't get through there easily, then you own the water and the land underneath it up to the midpoint of the river. In contrast to tenancy in common, in a joint tenancy, A, there is a single title to the property. B, there are as many titles to the property as there are co-owners. C, title is held by a trustee. Or D, co-owners who are married hold separate titles. The correct answer is A, there is single title to the property. Whereas tenants in common hold separate title to their individual interest, joint tenants together hold a single title to the property. This is referred to as unity of ownership. Which of the following accurately describes the act of foreclosure? A, a court-ordered acceleration of loan payments. B, the final step in a bankruptcy filing. C, a proceeding to enforce a lien by forcing the sale or transfer of a secured property. Or D, a proceeding to take equitable title to a property that was liened as security for a mortgage loan. Those are all a mouthful, aren't they? The correct answer is C, a proceeding to enforce a lien by forcing the sale or transfer of a secured property. All liens, whether it's a mortgage, taxes that are owed, mechanics liens, or maybe child support payment, HOA liens, all of those can be enforced by the sale or other transfer of title of the secured property, whether by court action, operation of law, or through the powers granted in the original loan agreement. The enforcement proceedings are referred to as foreclosure. Note that lieners already possess equitable title, so they do not need to undertake a legal proceeding to establish this. A contingency in a sale contract is A, promise by buyer or seller to perform a specific action. B, a condition that, if unmet, renders the contract unenforceable. C, one of several alternative actions that buyer or seller may take to satisfy contract requirements. Or D, an optional unilateral action that either party may take at the request of the other party. The correct answer for a contingency is a condition that, if unmet, renders the contract unenforceable. Contracts have contingencies for inspections, reports and disclosures, loans, appraisals, and if any of those are not met, that is a means to cancel the contract and get out of it. Which of the following is true of a contract for deed transaction? Remember, contract for deed. A, at the end of the contract period, the vendee receives equitable title provided all required periodic payments have been made. B, the vendee has no right to possess or occupy the property during the contract period. C, at the end of the contract period, the vendor conveys legal title provided the vendee has fulfilled all obligations. D, the vendor may cancel the contract at any time before the final payment has been received. A contract for deed is a bilateral agreement between a seller or the vendor, seller, vendor, and the buyer, the vendee, buyee, vendee, in which the vendor defers receipt of some of all of the purchase price of a property over a specified period of time. At the end of the period, the buyer completes payment to the vendor of the full purchase price, and the vendor deeds legal title to the vendee. If a borrower obtains an interest-only loan of $200,000 at an annual interest rate of 6%, what is the monthly interest payment? Get out your calculators, here we go. Answer A, $1,200. B, $600. C, $500. Or D, $1,000. Get your calculators out, see if you can figure it out. The correct answer, D, 1,000. You multiply the rate, 0.6, times the loan amount, 200,000, and divide by 12. 200,000 times 6% divided by 12 is $1,000 a month. Hopefully that's the only math you're going to see. Under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, a lender or a real estate agent who assists a seller in qualifying a potential buyer may not, watch out for the not, tell a rejected loan applicant the reasons for the rejection. B, ask the buyer, borrower about his or her religion or national origin. C, ask the buyer, borrower to explain unconventional sources of income. Or D, use a credit report that has not been provided to the borrower. The correct answer, B, ask the buyer, borrower about his or her religion or national origin. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act prohibits discrimination in extending credit based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, or dependency upon public assistance. A creditor may not make any statements to discourage an applicant on the basis of such discrimination to ask questions of an applicant concerning these discriminatory items. A real estate licensee who assists a seller in qualifying a potential buyer may fall within the reach of this prohibition. So watch out, be careful. What a buyer has to pay at closing is equal to A, the excess of the buyer's debits over the buyer's credits, B, the excess of the buyer's credits over the buyer's debits, C, the excess of the seller's debits over the seller's credits, or D, the excess of the seller's credits over the seller's debits. The correct answer is A, the excess of the buyer's debits over the buyer's credits. First of all, what a buyer has to pay at closing, you can eliminate C and D because that's talking about the seller. So you know that one's not correct. The challenge is they're talking about an excess. So what do they have to pay? Well, to determine how much money the buyer owes at closing, the buyer's debits, what they owe, are totaled and compared with the total amount of the buyer credits, what they've already contributed. The excess of debits over credits is the amount the buyer must bring to closing. The city of Stevensville has declared a moratorium on new construction. If demand is increasing, what will be the likely effect on real estate prices in the area? A, prices level off. B, prices continue to follow the trend that preceded the moratorium. C, prices will fall. Or D, prices rise. The correct answer is D, prices rise. If there is demand and no supply, guess what? People are willing to pay more for it. If demand is increasing and a moratorium slows supply, demand will begin to outpace supply, forcing prices to rise as the product becomes scarcer in relationship to the demand. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or ECOA, requires lenders to A, extend equal credit to all prospective borrowers, B, consider the income of a spouse in evaluating a family's creditworthiness, C, discount the income of a person involved in a child rearing or childbearing, or D, specialize lending activity by geographical area for improved customer service. The correct answer, lenders are required to B, consider the income of a spouse in evaluating a family's creditworthiness. ECOA requires a lender to evaluate a loan applicant based on the basis of that applicant's own income and credit rating, unless the applicant requires inclusion of another income or credit. In case of a family, both husband and wife or both partners, their credit and their income are going to be considered. In the market data approach, an appraiser compares nearby comparables, adjusts the subject for differences, and estimates the value. B, gathers relevant price data, applies the data to the subject, and estimates the value. C, selects comparable properties, adjusts the comparables, and estimates the value. Or D, identifies the price previously paid, applies an appreciation rate, and estimates the value. The correct answer? C, selects comparable properties, adjusts the comparables, and estimates the value. The steps to first identify comparable property sales, then compare comparables to the subject property and make adjustments to the comparables. Then finally weigh values indicated by adjusted comparables for the final estimate of the subject. Remember, they never make adjustments to the subject property, they make adjustments to the comparable properties based on what those properties have versus what the subject property has. Ivan owned a 1/4 acre lot. He wanted to construct a 120-foot by 80-foot tennis court on the lot. What approximate percentage of the lot will be left over, if any, when he has completed the construction? Here we go, some math, folks. Get the calculators ready. Answer A, 12%. Answer B, 88%. Answer C, 3%. Answer D, 15%. Get out your calculators, work it out. Have you got it figured out? Okay, great. The correct answer is A, 12%. The lot measures 43,560 square feet divided by 4. Remember, 43,560 square feet. Divide that by 4, so you're left with 10,890 square feet. The tennis court will take up 9,600 square feet, leaving 1,290 square feet. This amount is 11.8% of the total lot area, ergo 12% is the correct answer. Implied agency arises when A, an agent accepts an oral listing, B, a principal accepts an oral listing, C, a party creates an agency relationship outside of an express agreement, or D, a principal agrees to all terms of a written listing agreement, whether express or implied. The correct answer? C, a party creates an agency relationship outside of an express agreement. An agency relationship can arise out of implication, intentionality, or unintentionally. Implication means that the parties act as if there were an agreement. For example, an agent promises a buyer that I'm going to do my best to find you an ideal property at the lowest price possible. And the buyer says, yes, please, absolutely do that for me. There may not be a written agreement, however, there is an implied agency relationship. This is very common in the real estate industry, by the way. When an estate is held in trust, which party holds legal title? A, the beneficiary, B, the trustor, C, the trustee, or D, the grantor? The correct answer is C, the trustee. In an estate in trust, a fee owner, the grantor or the trustor, transfers legal title to a fiduciary, the trustee, who holds and manages the estate for the benefit of another party, the beneficiary. The trust may be created by deed, will, or trust agreement. The important thing to remember here is if you see who holds title in a trust, just remember trustee. A legal description of a property is one which, A, accurately identifies the boundaries of the property as distinct from all other properties, B, accurately describes the location and dimensions of the lot and improvements on the property, C, is accepted by a licensed surveyor as suitable for inclusion in a survey of the property, or D, is written by an attorney licensed to practice real estate law in the state in which the property is located. The correct answer is A, accurately identifies the boundaries of the property as distinct from all other properties. A legal description of real property is one which accurately locates and identifies the boundaries of the subject parcel to a degree acceptable by courts of law in the state where the property is located. The general criterion for a legal description is that it alone provides sufficient data for a surveyor to locate the parcel. Remember that, surveyor can locate the parcel. A legal description identifies the property as unique and distinct from all other properties. How many sections are there in a township? A, 1, B, 6, C, 12, or D, 36? The correct answer is D, 36. The rectangular survey system divides a township into 36 sections. Afraid I don't have a clever acronym for you. Just remember, township 36. Which of the following is true of an amortizing loan? A, the amount of annual interest paid is the same for every year of the loan term. B, part of each periodic payment is applied to the repayment of the loan balance in advance, and part is applied to payment of the interest in arrears. C, except for any points that may be paid, the interest on the loan balance is usually paid in advance. Or D, the interest rate is reduced each year to maintain equal payments even though the outstanding loan balance is smaller. The correct answer is B. Part of each periodic payment is applied to the repayment of loan balance in advance, and part is applied to the repayment of interest in arrears. In an amortizing loan, part of the principal is repaid periodically along with interest so that the principal balance decreases over the life of the loan. The annual interest is never the same since the principal balance to which the interest rate applies changes every year. Interest on a loan is always paid in arrears, not in advance. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act prohibits a lender from A, refusing a loan because the borrower does not match the lender's target market, B, including income from self-employment in the borrower's qualifying income, C, requiring both spouses to sign the loan application form, or D, refusing a loan because a borrower has a defective credit report. The correct answer is A, refusing a loan because the borrower does not match the lender's target market. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or ECOA, requires a lender to evaluate a loan applicant on the basis of that applicant's own income and credit rating, unless the applicant requests the inclusion of another income and credit rating in the application. In addition, ECOA has prohibited a number of practices in mortgage loan underwriting, including refusing a loan on a property based on applicants' demographic characteristics. What is the best definition for real estate? A, selling, buying, leasing, appraising, auctioning, exchanging for compensation. B, interest in land, business enterprises, or business opportunities with some exceptions. C, houses, apartments, mobile homes, condominiums, or commercial space for rent or sale. Or D, the business of creating a brokerage for offering specific services. The correct answer is B, interest in land, business enterprises, or business opportunities with some exceptions. Real property or real estate means any interest or estate in land and any interest in business enterprises or business opportunities, including any assignment, leasehold, subleasehold, or mineral right. However, the term does not include any cemetery lot or right of burial in any cemetery, nor does the term include the renting of mobile home lot or recreational vehicle lot in a mobile home park or travel park. Which type of agency is illegal in Florida? A, universal, B, dual, C, special, D, general. The correct answer is B, dual agency is illegal in Florida. Disclosed dual agency as an authorized form of representation by a real estate licensee in this state is expressly revoked. This is very different than California, where I mentioned where I do real estate. Dual agency is allowed here, but not in Florida. The Florida Real Estate Commission consists of A, 7 members, all appointed by the governor, B, 7 members, only 4 of whom are appointed by the governor, C, 9 members, all appointed by the governor, or D, 4 members, all licensed brokers and appointed by the governor. The correct answer is A, 7 members, all appointed by the governor. There is created within the department the Florida Real Estate Commission. The commission shall consist of 7 members who shall be appointed by the governor, subject to confirmation by the Senate. When must a listing agent disclose his or her agency relationship to prospective tenants and or buyers? A, immediately prior to the initial contact. B, upon initial contact. C, whenever substantive communication is made beyond casual conversation. Or D, immediately following any offer executed by the customer. The correct answer is C, whenever substantive communication is made beyond casual conversation. A listing agent must disclose in writing to a buyer or tenant that the agent represents the owner in the transaction. The disclosure must occur before or at the first substantive contact with the customer prospect. In some states, buyer representatives must disclose the agency relationship to sellers and their agents upon initial contact. An owner's agent is showing a buyer a residential property for sale. The buyer notices water stains on the foundation walls and floor and informs the agent. The appropriate course of action for the agent is to A, immediately contract to paint the ceiling, B, immediately contract to repair the roof, C, suggest the buyer make a lower price offer, or D, inform the seller. The correct answer, of course, inform the seller. An agent has the duty to inform the client of all material facts, reports, and rumors that might affect the client's interests in the property transaction. Well, that covers 25 questions from the Florida real estate exam. If you'd like to see more videos with more questions, check out this link right here. More importantly though, in the comments and description below, check out the link to the exam prep package. Make sure that you're ready to pass that test when the time comes. See you next time.